everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of TV Talk. It's Tuesday, and that means it's Star Wars Day. And this week's episode of the Clone Wars is Unfinished Business. With Echo back, Rex and the Bad Batch and Anakin infiltrate one of the warships surrounding Anaxis in the attempt to take back the planet. The question is, after so long being held by the Techno-Union and Separatists, can Echo be trusted? Okay, things I liked about this episode. Now, I know it says nothing, but in reality, that basically just means that this was a very great episode for me. I didn't hate it, but I didn't expressly love it either. Really, with this episode and the three that preceded it, I honestly think, based on the characters that were introduced, that Lucasfilm and Disney Plus, considering that this season of the Clone Wars is exclusively to Disney Plus, we're using these 4 episodes to set up the TV series The Bad Batch. Now, I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize. Also, if I mispronounce the name of the planet, I apologize. But it just kind of gives that feeling, particularly where they leave off at the end of the episode. Now, is that a bad thing? No, it's not. It's not a bad thing. I love when Lucasfilm makes connections to their different Star Wars shows. So when you have, like, say, in Rebels, characters that were in the Clone Wars. I love that connection. So, I mean, if they're using, or also on that train of thought, like, where they have things that draw back to the movies, the prequels, or even the original trilogy. I do like that, because it shows the connection, even stuff that draws back to the books, which some of them aren't even canon, but you know, it draws back to something that happens in the books. I do like that, because it shows a connective thread. So, if they were using these 4 episodes to kind of set up the Bad Batch TV show, I'm okay with that, because I've seen the Bad Batch TV show. I'm on season 2, I believe. Like partway through, I think I've only seen like 4 or 5 episodes of season 2, but I have seen all of season 1. And I'm okay if that's what these first 4 episodes were, to set it up. I honestly don't know if that's what they were doing, if they just decided, hey, we want to have this group of clones that are a little different from the other clones, the standard generation, the standard clones you see all the time. So we're going to have these 4 clones that are a little different. They have specialized skills that they were quote-unquote born with. And we're going to make them like special ops. If that was the case there, and then the Bad Batch series kind of eluded from that because they became popular, which honestly, after these last 4 episodes, I could completely understand why if the Bad Batch series came several years later, if the fans were like, hey, we want to see more of the Bad Batch, if, like, what happened to them after the war, or their missions during the war. I'm okay with that. Again, it's just another chapter in Star Wars. Could be connected to the will be connected to the Clone Wars. Could take place during the Clone Wars, could take place after the Clone Wars, it could take place sometime before Rebels. It doesn't matter. It's a nice connection. So I did kind of like that, so I shouldn't say there's really nothing I didn't like about it. I did like the characters. Rex is one of my favorite clones. So is Echo. I love the Bad Batch characters. They were all a nice relief from your standard issue clones who are all pretty much cookie cutter the same, which is what you'd expect with clones. These guys were very unique. You could tell by looking at them that they were different. One was really big and burly, one had snow white hair, one wore goggles, which I guess were kind of like glasses. One looked very standard issue, but kind of was set back from the others because he had like longer hair and had like half his face was tattooed, which we've seen with some of the other clones, but not both at the same time. And then, of course, what set them apart were their skills. Yes, hello, I love you. Sorry, that was my cat. Where we had, and I don't want to get too much off of it, but I don't feel I touched too much on their skills in the other videos, where we had one was super strong, one was super fast, or super smart, not super fast. One was super strong, one was super smart, one was a great marksman, and one had really enhanced senses. So again, we're just really, throughout the course of these 4 episodes, introduced to these characters, and I did like the fact that they were very different from the other clones. I would be interested to see if they will show up more in this season of Clone Wars. I highly doubt they will, but I would be very happy if they did. And I am extremely happy that they got their own show where we get to see more about them. Because they were so different, and I think that's what the fans liked about them, was that they were so different from they were clones, but they were different from the other clones. Okay, things I didn't like about this episode. There really wasn't a lot I didn't like about this episode. Granted, I saw this episode after I watched the first season of The Bad Batch, so some of the relationships were a little more established for me, so I did question some of them, but I don't want to get too much into that because it would be spoiler. Not only for the end of this episode, but also for The Bad Batch, so we're just going to leave it at that. But really with the one in particular, but I don't want to get too much into it, it does involve Echo though. It was, I was kind of like, why are you questioning him? He was one of the more dedicated and loyal clones. But again, looking at it through the lens of, yeah, we hadn't seen him prior to season 2 or season 3 of this season, or episode 2 or episode 3 of this season, excuse me. Last time we saw him prior to that was the Citadel rescue, where he was supposedly killed. So, yeah, he was basically, left for dead by his brothers and, in the hands of the Techno-Union and the Separatists ever since then. So, yeah, there could have been a shift in loyalty. So I do kind of understand the leeriness to trust him a little bit. It just, it kind of threw me a little bit at first. But once I looked at it through that lens, like, yeah, there's this thing called Stockholm Syndrome. It can happen very quickly sometimes. And, we could be dealing with this here where he feels a loyalty to the Techno-Union and the Separatists because they basically, quote unquote, saved his life, even though they were using him as a component to relay information to their troops about the Jedi and the clones, and whatnot. So I get the whole not really trusting him. Plus, the Bad Batch doesn't know him at this point in time. And then, Rex is being very adamant of, I know this guy. He's not going to do anything to harm us. He had worked with Echo and Fives. So I do get that. I would have liked to have seen more of Cody But of course, as we know from the first episode, that wasn't going to happen. You would think that their medical treatment would have been a little better and Cody would have been back in action, and maybe he was. He was just, because he never really worked with Echo all that much, off on another mission. It's hard to say. But I did like seeing the interaction in these 4 episodes between Rex and the Bad Batch. I thought that was really cool. Because Rex is used to working with very disciplined clones, despite the fact that he also worked with Anakin, who is not very disciplined. And here he is working with this unit of 4 clones that are very unorthodox. They don't tend to follow the orders very well and whatnot, but it was very interesting to see him kind of out of his comfort zone, as is the best way I can put it. And also seeing a little more of his relationship with Anakin as well. He appears to know, and we know this from 2 episodes ago, I just failed to mention it, where I believe he knows about, maybe not all the details, but he knows about Anakin's involvement with Padme to a degree. I don't think he knows that they're married. But, I mean, I don't know one where, I don't want to say he does, I don't want to say he doesn't, because they don't make that quite clear, but it is very clear that he is aware of the situation, he's aware of the relationship, which I really liked. But this is kind of more of the things I didn't like. But there's not, as you can kind of figure out, there's not much I didn't like about it. I mean, a couple of things that I questioned, and then we see it showing up a little differently, or we see like the end results in the episode, and it's like, okay, now I get why they did that. Also, if you watch the Bad Batch show, you'll see some of that kind of had worked out, and we get to where we are in there. So I did like that. I love the ending, how they ended it. Is very good. I don't want to get too much into that, though. Okay, feel free to check out my related Star Wars videos. my other videos, and my other videos.
That's okay, maybe we'll have another early night. As long as she's not harmed because of it, I don't mind.
Okay, before I sign off, a few things I'd like to touch on. First off, a quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, please leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. Also, feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen. as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respected artists. I own absolutely nothing. And the links for any sites mentioned will be in the description section. Okay, YouTube subscribers. Any of my videos that are not on YouTube are on my Facebook page. Facebook friends, basically the same deal. Any of my videos that are not on Facebook are on my YouTube channel. And to anyone who's interested, you can feel free to check out my Facebook group, Fanfic Corner. Please like and share if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube. And as always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.